News Report.
Welcome to More TV England. I'm your host, Chris Scott. Now, it is a great Masonic secret that has long been revealed that it was George Washington who chopped down the cherry tree of the Moors, erasing them from the history books and removing their nationality, fez and turbans. It was even predicted that in a few hundred years many of them would not remember who they were or their connection to the land.
Who are the Moors? This is one of the most difficult of historical questions, and in fact this is the most neglected chapter in black history.
When you go back into history, 1800s and back, Moor and African are synonymous. One of the things that our people mistake, they look at Moor as being a club or a belief system, which it is not. It's their pedigree, it's the bloodline.
Where do the Moors fit into our history? Because you know it's been this beef going on about the Moors come out of Egypt, we are not black. Where do the Moors fit into Egypt, ancient Egypt? At the time of building the Great Pyramids, was our people calling themselves Moors, and where did that word come from?
Well, Moor means black.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Moors will argue with you about that.
Moor means black. Moor is deeply steeped in the Greek tradition.
You heard what he said?
And in the Roman tradition. Moor means black.
North Avenue Capital started with a vision of being the best lender in the industry. For us to be effective, we needed to understand rural communities and the businesses that are critical for keeping those local economies thriving. North Avenue Capital provides financing in partnership with the USDA Rural Development Program. The main purpose of the USDA Rural Development Loan Guarantee Program is to encourage lenders to deploy capital into rural communities with the underlying objective of creating jobs, spurring on economic development, and helping establish and build businesses in communities outside of large metropolitan areas.
The USDA Business and Industry Loan Program is a secured asset lending program. We refinance existing debt, we do ground-up construction, we provide capital to improve real estate and provide working capital to borrowers across the country. The benefits of the USDA B&I program are the rates tend to be very competitive. They're very long-term loans, up to 30-year term and amortization. It tends to be a highly levered product, so oftentimes we can get up to 75% loan to cost on startups, and on the right existing business, we often do 100% financing. The types of deals that can be done in the USDA B&I program are all forms of commercial real estate, office, industrial, retail, hospitality, but then also specialized sectors, vineyards, wedding venues, nurseries, family entertainment centers, even oil and gas and mining.
In order for a borrower to qualify for a B&I loan, first of all, they have to be a for-profit business or a startup business, but they need to be located in a rural community outside of a big city, which actually comprises 97% of the country. In fact, many borrowers are operating in rural communities and may not even know it because of their proximity to a suburban or metropolitan area.
If you have an opportunity that you think may be a fit for one of the USDA loan programs, you can find us at northavenue.com, and we're all over the internet. We look forward to working with you.
The alternative lending industry can provide a very lucrative opportunity for brokers and affiliate partners. Whether you're specialized in commercial lending or real estate financing, having the right funding partner can make the difference between earning thousands on a deal or losing a commission. Go Capital understands this. You work hard to secure your clients and deserve to be compensated. Unfortunately, due to increased competition, many lending companies have stopped working with new agents, are not providing adequate training, are slow to respond, and simply not issuing competitive approvals. By joining Go Capital's partner program, your dedicated support specialist will assist you every step of the way. As a broker, you know that it's not always a matter of obtaining a loan approval. You need competitive terms. Go Capital's catalog of loan products allows you to offer the best financial solutions to your clients. Options include business lines of credit, SBA loans, merchant cash advances, commercial mortgages, hard money fix and flip loans, bridge financing, equipment leasing, invoice factoring, and more. What does this mean for you? More deals, more commission, and satisfied customers. As a registered partner, you'll receive free access to the Broker Affiliate Sales Portal. This system allows you to easily manage your deals and also offers tools, training, and resources that will help you succeed. Frustrated with never being able to speak with someone about your deals? At Go Capital, someone is always available. Whether you prefer to call, email, chat, or even visit our office headquarters in downtown Miami, we are always available to answer your questions. While other companies may advertise the highest commissions, they often fall short when it comes to issuing competitive terms, making the process easy, or simply being responsive. Go Capital provides quality broker support and training, and quickly identifies how to best structure a transaction. With our multitude of loan programs, comprehensive training systems, and quality service, you can focus on more important things, generating more business. Need us to join a conference call with a client? Need help presenting an offer? No problem. Our loan specialists are here to help. For more information or to sign up, visit our partner page on www.gocapital.com today or call 1-866-257-2973 and speak with an account manager. Go Capital, where your success is our business.
Understanding Syntactical Trust Training and Insurance Documentation. Summary. The video presentation discusses tactical trust training and the role of automated underwriting software in securitization audits. The focus is on the DTCC Replacement Implementation Guide linked to Accord Life and Annuity Standards, revealing its correlation with global insurance standards. Various insurance forms and their functions are explained, including property loss notices, liability notices, and certificates of insurance. The video also touches on specialized forms for different types of insurance and the use of forms in arbitration processes. The presentation emphasizes upcoming in-depth training on syntactical trust banking and M3 conveyances. Highlights. First, the video introduces tactical trust training and the use of automated underwriting software for securitization audits. Second, the DTCC Replacement Implementation Guide is tied to global insurance standards and correlates with Accord Life and Annuity Standards. Third, various insurance forms such as property loss notices and liability notices are discussed along with their roles. Fourth, specific forms for different types of insurance like trucking and commercial property insurance are highlighted. Fifth, forms play a crucial role in arbitration processes, populating based on requests and activities. Sixth, the presentation mentions specialized forms like those for professional liability, money transmittal bonds, and key man insurance. Seventh, Forms 831 and 833 are emphasized for reporting claims involving lawyers and other professionals. Eighth, the importance of gathering materials for upcoming in-depth training on syntactical trust banking and M3 conveyances is highlighted. Understanding syntactical trust training and insurance documentation. In the realm of financial operations, syntactical trust training plays a vital role in ensuring compliance and effective implementation of automated underwriting software. This comprehensive guide sheds light on the intricate world of insurance documentation, aiming to equip compliance officers and insurance professionals with the knowledge necessary for accurate and informed decision-making. From the correlation between global insurance standards and automated underwriting to the utilization of specific forms in various insurance scenarios, this article dives deep into the core of syntactical trust training. The role of automated underwriting software in securitization audits. Automated underwriting software is a key player in the world of securitization audits. These audits are essential for evaluating the compliance and security aspects of financial transactions. By utilizing automated underwriting software, organizations can streamline the auditing process and ensure accurate assessments of various financial instruments. Understanding the DTCC Replacement Implementation Guide. At the heart of insurance operations lies the DTCC, Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, Replacement Implementation Guide. This guide, rooted in Accord Life and Annuity Standards, serves as a crucial reference for compliance officers and insurance professionals. It establishes a direct link between the DTCC and the core, which deals with global insurance standards. This connection is particularly relevant for those involved in commercial insurances, such as tractor-trailer insurance, where certificates of insurance originate from the core. Decoding the Accord Form Index. The Accord Form Index is a treasure trove of forms used in the insurance industry. From property loss notices to liability notices, this index encompasses a wide array of forms that cater to diverse insurance scenarios. For instance, individuals making claims on insurances will encounter forms such as Notice of Occurrence and Claim, Property Loss Notices, and more. Property Loss Notices. Notice of Occurrence and Claim. Intermodal Interchange Certificate of Insurance. Certificate of Property Insurance. Certificate of Liability Insurance. Evidence of Property Insurance. Evidence of Commercial Property Insurance. Statement of No Loss. Financial Responsibility Form. Insurance Binders. Commercial Insurance Application, Form 125. Accounts Receivable for Valuable Papers. Professional Liability Supplement, Form 187. Money Transmittal Bond, Shared Report of Execution, Form 501. Contract Bond Request, Forms 502, 503, 504. Professional Special Insurance Application, Form 825. Lawyer's Professional Liability Section, Forms 831, 833. Navigating the complexity of insurance documentation. The intricate web of insurance documentation comes to life through various forms that serve distinct purposes. From professional liability supplements to notices of incident or claim, these forms cater to professionals, specialists, and various insurance scenarios. For instance, Form 831 and 833 for lawyers and other professionals. Form 825, Professional Special Insurance Application. Form 501, Shared Report of Execution for Money Transmittal Bond. Forms 502, 503, 504, Contract Bond Requests. Property Loss Notices and Notice of Occurrence and Claim, the Reinsurance Connection. Applying Syntactical Trust Training in Practical Scenarios. As professionals navigate the world of insurance, syntactical trust training becomes crucial for accurate implementation. From understanding specific forms to using them effectively in various arbitration scenarios, this training ensures compliance and informed decision-making. For instance, Schedule C on Admiralty Claim and Notice of Fault Demand for Payment. Cross-referencing forms for effective reinsurance. Embracing the future of insurance operations. As the industry evolves, syntactical trust training remains an essential cornerstone of insurance operations. This guide serves as a roadmap for compliance officers, insurance professionals, and all stakeholders involved in the intricate world of insurance documentation. By grasping the nuances of syntactical trust training, professionals can navigate the complexities of the insurance landscape with confidence, ensuring compliance and effective decision-making. In conclusion, syntactical trust training and a deep understanding of insurance documentation pave the way for efficient operations and informed choices in the insurance industry. This guide serves as a comprehensive resource for those seeking clarity and proficiency in navigating the intricacies of insurance forms and procedures. As professionals continue to engage with the evolving landscape of insurance, syntactical trust training remains a valuable asset that empowers them to make impactful decisions and contribute to the industry's growth.
Ever wondered why safety and risk management don't always translate to tangible financial benefits in the commercial trucking insurance industry? Enter CCG, or Comply Chain Guard, a groundbreaking platform designed to flip this narrative on its head. CCG stands out in the commercial trucking insurance landscape thanks to its remarkable ability to empower businesses to reclaim considerable amounts from their insurance policies. Picture this, being able to recoup up to $250,000 from a commercial trucking insurance policy if there have been no claims within the last 90 days. It's not a dream, it's CCG. But the innovation doesn't stop there. Working hand in hand with Affinet, CCG offers businesses the opportunity to file a truth affidavit. This innovative process leverages UCC filing to recoup up to 30% of the value of freight. And with the integration of RSI's advanced technologies, this process is as efficient as it is beneficial. CCG, RSI, and Affinet work in harmony to provide a comprehensive and dependable solution for commercial trucking businesses. Their authoritative and academic approach breaks down complex insurance concepts into clear, comprehensible English, giving businesses the tools they need to fully exploit the potential of these cutting-edge platforms. So to recap, CCG, in collaboration with RSI and Affinet, is transforming the commercial trucking insurance industry. Its unique features, such as the ability to recoup significant amounts from insurance policies and its seamless integration with UCC filings, enable businesses to maximize their financial returns and secure their interests. In a world where safety and risk management are paramount, CCG, RSI, and Affinet are leading the charge, delivering a comprehensive and reliable solution for commercial trucking businesses that seek to optimize their insurance policies. With their authoritative tone, academic style, and clear English communication, these platforms are the future of the commercial trucking insurance industry.
In a world where societal challenges and crime rates are on the rise, isn't it time we moved from passive acceptance to active change? Enter RSI, a transformative force that empowers individuals to make a difference. Take a moment to consider the enormous potential of RSI's partner program. This program offers a golden opportunity for businesses, blending competitive terms with enhanced commission possibilities. It's not just a program, it's a beacon of growth, a testament to the evolving landscape of business partnerships and financial strategies. Now, let's delve into the insurance sector. Here, RSI underscores the critical importance of audits and compliance. With automated underwriting software leading the charge, the insurance industry is on the brink of a monumental transformation. Adherence to regulatory standards and thorough audits form the bedrock of insurance operations, maintaining their integrity and efficiency. RSI, with its advanced capabilities, ensures trust and transparency reign supreme. Trust training is another crucial component. RSI provides professionals involved in trust management and administration with invaluable insights, enabling them to navigate the complexities of the field with confidence and expertise. In the financial realm, RSI shines a light on the intricacies of trust accounting. It offers a detailed perspective on reconciling trust accounting, aligning accounting methods with the trust's accounting cycle. With RSI's guidance, the 7 key elements necessary for trust accounting reconciliation become clear, allowing financial professionals to navigate the field with precision. Finally, consider the importance of operating agreements in trust accounting. RSI emphasizes their critical role in preserving accounting integrity and individual rights. The process of obtaining a limited liability company, LLC, and understanding its jurisdictional aspects are also unveiled, providing invaluable insights for those involved in establishing or managing LLCs. In summary, RSI is a transformative force, a beacon of growth in the face of societal challenges. It emphasizes the importance of audits and compliance, trust training and operating agreements, and unveils the intricacies of trust accounting. RSI empowers professionals to navigate these complex terrains with confidence, offering a path to active change in our society. In a world where society
Have you ever pondered the integral role of truth and transparency in legal transactions? Indeed, these principles form the very bedrock of justice and fairness. In the realm of affidavits, truth and transparency are paramount. They are the compass guiding the navigation of complex legal waters. But how can we ensure these principles are upheld consistently and efficiently? Enter Affinet, the affidavit network. Affinet is a groundbreaking platform designed with sovereigns, legal professionals, and businesses in mind. It is a one-stop solution for creating, verifying, and recording truth affidavits. This ensures a seamless and trustworthy experience for all parties involved. Why choose Affinet? Integrity, efficiency, security, and expertise. Our platform is built on the principle of truth, fostering transparency in each transaction. Record your affidavits with ease and access them anytime, anywhere. With state-of-the-art encryption, your documents remain confidential and secure. Plus, our team of legal professionals is always on hand to assist and guide you. Let's delve deeper into the features of Affinet. Draft your affidavits online using our user-friendly interface. Ensure the authenticity of your documents with our robust verification system. Record your affidavits in county records or publish them as required, thanks to our seamless integration with the public record. Track the status of your affidavits. and receive notifications on any challenges or updates with our case management feature. AFINET is also compliant with RSI, the Arbitration Registry Investment System Artificial Intelligence. This ensures we uphold the highest standards in the creation and verification of truth affidavits. What exactly is a truth affidavit? It's a formal written statement made under oath, asserting the veracity of specific facts. All affidavits are inherently considered to be truth affidavits, as they are the primary means for a sovereign to communicate with another sovereign or government entity. Affidavits play a crucial role in common law. They present only facts that the author can prove and are primarily used in commercial transactions and disputes. When recorded in county records, they become part of public policy and establish the facts of a case. If unchallenged for 30 days post-recording, they become the law of the case. It's essential to remember that public policy is established for public officials, not sovereigns. Sovereigns operate in the private domain, while the government operates publicly. AFINET simplifies the process of using affidavits in corporate courts. Record the affidavit in the county record, obtain 3 certified copies from the county clerk, and submit 1 copy to the court records. Present 1 copy to the plaintiff and another to the judge during court proceedings. As the author of the affidavit, you become the creditor or secured party in the case, and the case cannot proceed until your affidavit is challenged. A truth affidavit must be truthful and complete. It should clearly identify the author as a sovereign private person, living sole, creditor, claimant, and secured party. The affidavit should only state facts that are irrefutable. In conclusion, AFINET is your trusted partner in truthful transactions. For your next affidavit, give AFINET a try. Experience the difference of a platform built on the principles of truth and transparency. AFINET, your partner in integrity.
Ever pondered the intricacies of notional pooling, M3 conveyances, and advanced notarial practices? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to RSI, your premier platform for mastering these complex concepts. Our journey began in 2023 with a vision to revolutionize arbitration and arbitrage. We acknowledged the intricate challenges faced by civil law notaries, parliamentary draftsmen, and compliance officers, and took it upon ourselves to craft a solution. The result? RSI, a platform that seamlessly integrates the subtleties of notional pooling, M3 conveyances, and advanced notarial practices. At RSI, we have one mission: to empower professionals. We've developed an AI-driven platform that ensures accuracy and efficiency, bridging the gap between traditional practices and modern technology. Our aim is to ensure that you stay at the forefront of your field, and we're dedicated to making that happen. Our values are the pillars of our organization: innovation, integrity, excellence, and collaboration. We're committed to continuous innovation, incorporating the latest AI technologies for the best user experience. We uphold the highest standards of integrity, ensuring that our platform remains transparent, ethical, and trustworthy. We strive for excellence, providing a platform that is both user-friendly and robust in its capabilities. And we believe in the power of collaboration, working closely with industry experts to ensure that RSI remains relevant and effective. Meet the team that makes it all happen. Our founder and CEO, Bidzil Bey, a civil law expert with a passion for technology. Our CTO, Lamont, a tech enthusiast with a knack for AI. And our Chief Compliance Officer, Roberto, who ensures that RSI adheres to the highest standards. So, if you're ready to elevate your arbitration and arbitrage skills, why wait? Click the link below to chat live with RSI. We're here to help you master notional pooling, M3 conveyances, and advanced notarial practices. Your journey to professional empowerment starts here.
Chapter 3: The Fateful Intersection of Two Visionaries. In the sprawling convention center of Silicon Valley, the annual tech conference, Innovate Now, was in full swing. The event was a magnet for the brightest minds in the industry, drawing in developers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries from all corners of the globe. Among the sea of attendees were Clara, with her groundbreaking AI syntactical trust, and Bidzil Bey, the guardian of compliance, who was making waves with his innovative approach to trust administration. Clara's presentation on the main stage was a resounding success. She spoke passionately about the potential of her AI system to revolutionize the way APIs were used, emphasizing the importance of transparency, control, and trust. As she showcased the capabilities of her system, the audience was captivated. Her vision of a transparent and efficient future resonated with many, but it struck a particular chord with one individual, Bidzil Bey. Bidzil, having just concluded his own presentation on the integration of AI into trust administration platforms, was intrigued by the parallels between their projects. He saw in Clara's AI syntactical trust a kindred spirit, a complementary force that could further enhance his own endeavors in trust management. As the presentations concluded and the attendees mingled, Bidzil made his way through the crowd, intent on introducing himself to Clara. Their meeting was serendipitous. As they exchanged ideas and insights, it became clear that their individual projects, when combined, had the potential to reshape the landscape of both trust administration and software development. Clara's expertise in APIs and Bidzil's deep understanding of trust dynamics could create a synergy that neither had anticipated. They spoke for hours, brainstorming potential collaborations and envisioning a future where their combined efforts could lead to unprecedented advancements in their respective fields. By the end of the conference, Clara and Bidzil had forged not only a professional partnership but also a deep mutual respect. They recognized in each other a shared passion for innovation and a commitment to pushing the boundaries of what was possible. It was the beginning of a collaboration that promised to redefine the intersection of technology and trust.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out?
You've got to get mad.
67.
Say,
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Herb?
CGG, Atlanta.
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Herb?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted? But first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
Get up out of your...
Son of a bitch! We struck the mother lode!
Stick your head out of the window, open it, and stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as hell, I'm not going to take this anymore. Just get up from your chairs right now. Go to
Where
the
you
window.
going? I want to see if anybody's
Go
yelling.
to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling. I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take this anymore!
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad gonna take it anymore! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm mad as
And in this particular lecture, I'm going to cover a number of different things, and a lot of this to some people may seem like way out initially, you know, which it seemed to me, but I tried to gather as much facts as possible outside of the Moors to prove what we're saying. You know, a lot of times people say, well, it's y'all Moors saying this, but show me something else that's saying what y'all saying, that proves what y'all saying. So I tried to gather as much as possible, and I have a lot of information here to share. I tried to organize as best as possible because a lot of information, and I just tried to put it in the best way so that you could be able to grasp it. I'm going to start off speaking about a man by the name of Horace Greeley. And he was part of a worldwide conspiracy to conceal the information that I'm about to speak on today. And there's a definite reason why this information was concealed. Horace Greeley was the founder and editor of a paper called the New York Tribune, which was located in New York City. This newspaper was a national newspaper as well as international, and it had a profound effect on the consciousness of European people. At the time when this was put together, you know, sometimes we think that Europeans, that, you know, they've been a world power, you know, going way back to so-called Greeks and Romans time, all that's fictional. All that's fictional. They just got themselves together as recently as 1854 to 1865. This is when they finally got themselves together to govern the planet on a global level, as recent as that date. And this is around the time of the Civil War. And at the end of the Civil War, they was finally able to put certain things together to bring themselves together. At the time, during Horace Greeley's time, they was in a similar condition that we are in now, in the sense that you had many different white organizations at that time. They were all striving for the uplifting of their people, but they had many different ideologies, many different groups of themselves, all striving and vying with each other, sometimes bitter conflict with each other, in order to achieve that goal, which is the upliftment of their people. The key role that Horace Greeley played was that his paper, his organ, the New York Tribune, was able to gather up all those people and give them a sense of a unified context or paradigm or direction that they was all able to unify themselves behind, regardless to their different ideological differences and so on and so forth. And this is what we're hoping that the Moorish paradigm or the Moorish Renaissance that's taking place now will be able to do. That it will serve as a paradigm that will be able to unify our people in regards to the different ideologies. You know, coming out from New York City, you know, and I sell books in Harlem on 125th Street, as well as in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn. And being in those two places, I come in contact with every aspect of the so-called black movement or national, or whatever you want to call it. I come in contact with every aspect of it. Hebrew Israelites, every sect and division of Islam you could think of, black nationalists, all different types of groups, you know. And it seems like this may be able to unify us behind a certain paradigm. A paradigm is a certain perspective or outlook on the world. And this is what we're about to get into. We're about to have what's known as the paradigm shift. We're about to come into a new paradigm, a paradigm that will allow us to rise our people up and take our rightful place in history. Horace Greeley, prior to Horace Greeley's time, the European, or what we call the white man or whatever, he was known as the red man. And they called themselves red men. As a matter of fact, Horace Greeley was a member of a political party known as the Red Men's Whigs Party, which eventually he promoted to be changed to the Republican Party. The present-day Republican Party originally was called the Red Men's Whig Party. Horace Greeley, as well as Abraham Lincoln, were members of the Red Men's Whig Party. He suggested to them that they change their names to the Republican Party and as opposed to call themselves red men, call themselves white men. And this was to set up this whole dynamic of white being pure and good and white being bad and inferior, this whole white supremacist mentality or paradigm that was being perfected at this time. Now, just to give you an idea of the power and of the influence of Horace Greeley, this was taken from a book called Horace Greeley in the New York Tribune during the Civil War. And it says in the introduction, it says, all contemporaries, friends, and foes alike testified that the Tribune exerted the greatest influence upon public opinion of any journal in the country during the period under discussion, which was the Civil War period. It goes on to say that the paper furnished the basis of a power national in scope and at times enabled the editor to mold public sentiment more effectively than even the president. Horace Greeley in that paper, the New York Tribune, actually had more influence over the mindset of European people on an international scale than even the President of the United States. Karl Marx was just the London correspondent of the New York Tribune. This was an international thing that took place here. All right? It also says that it would have been difficult to convince the great mass of rural subscribers from Western New York to Iowa that the old white-coated philosopher, Horace Greeley, did not pen every line in their political Bible. Herein lies the crux of the Tribune power and influence. Horace Greeley was more than the editor of a great newspaper. He had acquired an enviable reputation as an expounder of political views and had actively sponsored the organization of the Republican Party on a national scale. So Horace Greeley had a great deal of influence. And he was like more or less, let's say, the point man that more or less gathered around him all these different people, covering all different various disciplines, everything from medicine to science to history. Just to give you an example, there's an article I have here called Archaeological Cover-Ups. This is an article that was taken from a magazine called Nexus Magazine. And this is a very good magazine. If you have a chance to get a hold of it, I believe Brother Emiola from the Black Mind Builders sells this particular magazine. And this particular article, Archaeological Cover-Ups, was dealing with the Smithsonian Institute, which was founded a little bit prior or during Horace Greeley times around in 1829. And it starts off, it says, most of us are familiar with the last scene in the popular Indiana Jones archaeological adventure film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, in which an important historical artifact, the Ark of the Covenant from the temple in Jerusalem, is locked in a crate and put in a giant warehouse, never to be seen again. I'm sure you all remember that part at the end where they shipped it in. They had all these different boxes marked top secret. It goes on to say, the Smithsonian Institute is an independent federal agency. Sounds familiar? IRS, Federal Reserve, so on. An independent federal agency has been actively suppressing some of the most interesting and important archaeological discoveries made in America. Now, what they were covering up was our history in this hemisphere. At this time, this is the time when they concocted this myth that we were all brought over here on slave ships from Africa to be their slaves. This is one of the biggest lies they ever put together. You're going to see the massive proportions of the lie that they have put forward. Yeah, there were some that were brought here from Africa. But by far, the majority of us were already here. We had a civilization that went from Alaska all the way down to Chile, which they refer to as the ancient mound builders, the one who built the civilizations and built the mounds and pyramids all up and down this hemisphere. And you're going to see further what is the significance and the major role that we played as civilization here in this hemisphere. And the Smithsonian Institute was key in covering up these facts. And then they also mention it here about the Vatican and how they have an underground library in the Vatican. The walls 5 feet thick and 24-hour security. What they hiding down there. And he mentions how they have things down there that will conflict with the church's credibility or perhaps cast the official text in doubt. So they keep these things hidden. And it says, and it goes on to say, it says, when Thomas, the guy's name is Thomas, he was the director of the Eastern Mound Division of the Smithsonian Institute's Bureau of Ethnology. It says, when Thomas came to the Bureau of Ethnology, he was a pronounced believer in the existence of a race of mound builders distinct from the American Indians, the people who they're saying American, with the long stringy hair and so on and so forth. He believed that there was a race of mound builders distinct from the American Indians. However, John Wesley Powell, the director of the Bureau of Ethnology, a very sympathetic man toward the American Indians, had lived with some of these ones who they call Indians, and he felt sorry for them. He felt that they say he felt sorry for them and they were treated unfairly and that they should get the credit for this. Now remember now, they were in the process of wiping these people out. So it's easy to give credit to a people that you know you're about to wipe out anyway. It goes on and says the Smithsonian began to promote the idea that Native Americans at that time being exterminated in the Indian Wars were descended from advanced civilizations and were worthy of respect and protection. They also began a program of suppressing any archaeological evidence that led credence to the school of thought known as diffusionism, a school which believes that throughout history there has been widespread dispersion of culture and civilization via contact by ship and major trade routes. Keep that in mind because remember, Moor means navigator. We were a maritime nation all over the planet. And keep that in mind because we're going to get deeper into that. This says the school of thought known as diffusionism believes that throughout history there was a widespread dispersion of culture and civilization via contact by ship and major trade routes. It goes on and says, but the Smithsonian opted for the opposite school, known as isolationism. Isolationism holds that most civilizations are isolated from each other and that there has been very little contact between them, especially those that are separated by bodies of water. And this intellectual war that started in the 1880s, right around Horace Greeley time. Now, this school of thought, isolationism, gives credence to their whole philosophy of us being so-called third world peoples and them being so-called first world peoples. They're saying this is the first time the world has been unified as what's known as the global village, or unified in economy and trade and so on and so forth. Wrong. There's been two civilizations prior to that in which it was unified by the Moors. First the ancient Moabites or Moabites, and then the Moors. It goes on to say, when the contents of many ancient mounds and pyramids of the Midwest were examined, it was shown that the history of the Mississippi River valleys was that of an ancient and sophisticated culture that had been in contact with Europe and other areas. Not only that, the contents of many mounds revealed burials of huge men, sometimes 7 or 8 feet tall, in full armor with swords and sometimes huge treasures. All this was being found by the Smithsonian. This gets back into the Bible where they talk about these different giants and Nephilim and so on and so forth. And it goes on and says, for instance, when Spiro Mine in Oklahoma was excavated in the 1930s, a tall man in full armor was discovered along with a pot of thousands of pearls and other artifacts, the largest such treasure so far documented. We have many more treasures here. The elders taught us that the Moors did more building underground than we did above ground here.
Blog Talk Radio.
Peace, everyone. I would like to welcome you to another episode of The Foundation here on High Frequency Radio Network. I am your host, So L. It is definitely my pleasure to be here with you this wonderful day. The Foundation, where we understand incorrect information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. Correct information incorrectly applied can get you hurt. So we're looking to correctly apply correct information here on the Foundation. I want to say all honors, praises, thanks, due to God, the Creator and the ancestors. So without them, we would not be here. I want to say peace to Big Brother Yusuf L. My brother. High Frequency Radio Network, highfrequencyradionetwork.com, creator extraordinary, my guy. So, big shout out to Big Brother Yusuf. HighFrequencyRadioNetwork.com, as I said, that's where you want to go to get your info. Definitely. Welcome to the foundation.com, just like it sounds. Got a PDF section. Get your info on for free. Just, if you're down to read, you're down to succeed. You can also shoot, me an email. You can sign up for the email list. You can make a donation, set up a consultation, find all the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook pages for the foundation, all at that one spot, welcome to thefoundation.com. You can also check out some past episodes. Give us a second, we're going to upload some more. Honestly, I've been slacking. Real. I want to say peace to all the trustees and all those who have been investing in their private education. Salute. Peace to anyone I've done business with in the private. Also, anyone who's made a donation, send an email, send well wishes or current event. Peace to Sister Yvette or anyone who's otherwise added to the foundation. This goes out to you. Also, I want to say peace to, my special guest today, Brother David from Thando Radio. I'm gonna pull him in actually right now before I get to current events. I only got a couple. Let me double check, make sure that I got the right number. Peace, Brother David. I got the right number.
Brother.
Hey, how
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you perfectly.
Right? Man.
Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it.
I'm home.
I definitely want to give you a big up. This brother right here, y'all, this is, I'm just going to put it out there, honestly. He's my precious metals mentor. I met this brother, I'm a studier. I'm a seeker, obviously. SOAP does stand for Seeker of Truth. But, I met this brother, saw him at an event, was introduced to him, I heard him speak. And, a lot of the stuff that he said, I knew, but he knew quite a bit of stuff that I hadn't even heard of, which I thought was really impressive. And then, when I got to, become one of his mentees, he really opened up the gates and really showed, excuse my language, he showed his ass. You know what I mean? He really showed me that my brother was really, really an expert in the field of precious metals. Precious metals as investments, as real money, the geopolitical aspects that go into precious metals, the tracking of, you name it. This brother, I can't say enough. So yeah, I say, I have several mentors when it comes to, my private education. This brother is definitely one of four. I do want to, welcome you to the show once again, man. Thank you for coming, man.
Brother, man, so it's home, and I'm so happy to be here because it's where we're supposed to be. And I'm going to tell you, our relationship is a very personal one as well, more than just business. We're connected, and we're connected. I'm going to tell you, when it comes to my family, you could tell how close you are to me if my family knows your name and they know you. And so I'm greatly honored for everything that you're doing. You know what, brother? I wouldn't want to be anywhere than right here with the warriors that we all know, that we collaborate with, that we strategize with, and that we make ourselves available to. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This is where I asked to be, and I definitely think that all of the warriors are in that same, same elk, and they same a cut of that same cloth, and they intentionally wanted to be here. And one of the things I always say is that a soldier can never do what a warrior thinks, because a soldier takes orders. A warrior provides the path to sovereignty and self-determination. So that's who you are to me. And we know many brothers and sisters that are of like mind, like energy. This is why they come to the foundation. They listen, and they are actually enlightened and given an opportunity to question things because of your program and what you do, which is critical because the airways are sacred. The airways are completely sacred because what it happens is that the airways is a frequency into the mind of the will of the people. And you orchestrate that so well, brother. And I was sitting back, you know, just jamming to the intro, listening to it, and just realizing, man, this is where I want to be. And I want to be here with you and your listeners and the posse of people that we have that you know of. And I'm looking forward to enduring it all together because that is what breeds unity. That's what breeds strength. And there is no other stronger than the great will of the great creator that's been put into us as the image of perfection. And you definitely exemplify that, my brother.
Hey, you know, all praises, you know, to the creator. I appreciate those words though, man. Like that was really, really heartfelt. You know, I'm glad we see eye to eye when it comes to, you know, getting this information out to the overall body of our people. Because as we both know, if you can just hear what we're saying, you will be interested. And if you can get interested and be dedicated and consistent, it will change your life. So, with that being said, I'm going to go into a couple of current events real quick, man.
Sure.
Just bear with me. And if you got anything, you know, that you can throw in, because I just got like, you know, 4 little articles that I pulled. First, from Reuters, China is going to slap an additional tariffs of $16 billion on U.S. goods. That's 25% on $16 billion worth of U.S. goods, from fuel to steel products to autos and medical equipment. The Chinese Commerce Ministry said as the world's largest economies escalate their trade dispute. It's a war. We're in trade war. We've been in trade war territory. And, you know, let's just leave it at that. If y'all want to check that out, it's China to slap additional tariffs on $16 billion of U.S. goods. That's on Reuters. I'm going to move forward. I thought this was funny. This is from a couple weeks ago. Trump flags and hats made in China are reportedly being held up at customs as trade war heats up. This cracks me up because, you know, Trump is getting ready, you know, to start his next campaign for presidency. You know, Trump 2020, and to keep America great. You know, because apparently it's great now. He made it great. But, you know, his campaign stuff is getting held up in customs due to the tariffs and the overall trade wars that are taking place right now. Newsworthy on Newsweek, Saudi Arabia orders 16,000 students to leave Canada amid escalating clash. Saudi Arabia has canceled the scholarships for 16,000 of its students studying in Canada, also ordering them to leave the country and find academic programs elsewhere. The move comes amid growing diplomatic row between the kingdom and the North American country, following comments by Canada's foreign minister that criticized Saudi Arabia's human rights record and called on Riyadh to release detained activists. Responding to the criticism, Saudi Arabia also cut diplomatic ties with Canada, froze an all-new trade and investment, and canceled flights via its national carrier to Toronto. You also check that out. You know, there's not only things escalating between the United States and Russia and China, Iran, and Syria, but there's things escalating with Canada and Saudi Arabia. And bottom line, if you look at it, it's, you know, Eastern versus Western that I see being set up, and it just doesn't look good. China's UNIPEC, you can check that out in Newsweek, with regards to Saudi Arabia ordering 16,000 students out of Canada. Next up, Reuters. China's UNIPEC suspends imports of U.S. oil amid growing trade row, cited by sources. UNIPEC is the trading arm of the state oil major, Sinopec, It has suspended imports of crude oil from the United States due to the growing trade war between Washington and Beijing. 3 sources familiar with the situation said. They declined to be identified as they are not authorized to speak to the media. Chinese oil buyers had already slowed their purchase of U.S. oil to avoid a likely import tariff threatened by Beijing amid the trade dispute between the world's 2 largest economies. Y'all can check that out if you want to see more on that article. Also want to say numbers are in. Average home price is up over 5.5%. Average incomes are only up 2.8%. So y'all put that together. If the average home price is up 5.5%, but average incomes are only up 2.8%, and these are government numbers. Do I believe these numbers? No. These are the numbers that I, believe that they're willing to admit to. But if the price of purchasing a home has driven 5.5%, and your average income has only risen half of that, you can see what's happening to the middle class. It was quoted to have been said by someone dealing with student loans and how those are calculated, as well as how the housing market was projected, and affordability is at crisis levels. The engine of housing at this point is the first-time home buyer. So it's being let known that the engine of housing is the first-time home buyer. And, right now we're dealing with millennials who, from what I understand from the numbers, are buying less homes than the previous 2 generations. It might have been combined. New home sales are down 5.3% versus the expected 0.03%. So we might be looking at the housing market crash that might be taking place right now. And I guess, that's all I got. Go ahead, brother. That's all I got right now.
I just wanted to add to that. Very, very important. I'm glad you brought that last story up. There's an article that I would just add to this that kind of coincides to what you just said, is that the housing bubble and the housing collapse is about to start. And there was an article on July the 25th of 2018 that came out, and it was put out by BizNow, is the source. And the title of the article is Chinese Investors Do an About-Face Starting Selling U.S. Commercial Properties. Chinese investors pulled back from the United States commercial real estate in a very big way. In the second quarter, buying only $126.2 million worth of properties. At the same time, they sold a total of $1.3 billion worth of U.S. commercial real estate, according to the Real Capitalist Analysis data. Now, that is what is very, very important. See, what happens with a profit, the key to a profit is not where you sell, is where you enter the market. The Chinese investors entered the market when the overall housing prices were at the bottom. They know that they're at the top right now, and they know everything that's going to happen with the trade wars, with the currency wars, the trade wars that lead into a shooting war. And they know right now is the time to sell those properties. It's not just commercial real estate. They're selling not only commercial real estate, residential real estate. They're selling bonds. They're selling treasury notes. They're selling everything. And what they're doing is that they're taking the overall cash from that and they're repositioning it and re-leveraging it into something else, and other assets that are artificially suppressed right now that are going to explode. And they're going to be the ones that make that happen. And that's a lot about what tonight's show is about. And so I'm so glad that these were the articles that you chose, bro, because the last article is very, very significant to what's really going on and how it plays and how it can affect our everyday listeners and ourselves in our daily lives, because it is and it will further affect us going forward. So very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. What I would like to say, and you'll love this, Brother David, the gold to housing ratio right now is 296.72 to 1.
Right.
And
right.
I do want to say for the, which is significant, I do want to say for the, the listeners, all the IBOR contracts that mature in 2021 and after have to be reset. And that's very significant on a level that I don't want to get into right now. I just want to get to the show at this point. So, unless you got any other current events that you want to speak on, brother, I feel like we can move forward.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move forward. But very important. I'm glad you read that, and this is what we need to be getting out to the people. And that overall ratio between gold and homes, it tells a very, very significant story, and history is playing itself out once again. So we're going to jump on that a little bit. What's that?
You want to touch on that, on how history is playing itself out again? Because, I mean...
you know what? Because of the show and how important it is, it kind of plays into this. So I'll bring it back into this. I'll have that flow into tonight's show so that it blends together really, really well. It's really a signal. It's a canary in a coal mine signal that an economic displacement, a huge economic displacement, is about to happen.
Right. Right. Exactly. So obviously, as y'all can tell, we got my good brother David of Thando Radio back with us once again. Tonight we're going to be discussing and going into HR 5404, what it means and what to know. So, we're going to talk about what it is, why does it matter, how does it affect you and your family, and what can you do to protect yourself and your family when this wealth transfer really starts picking up speed, because that's exactly what's going on. What one of the, correlations I like to make with regards to how things are instituted from a control perspective, when you're talking about elite families or whatever, however you want to look at it, Illuminati, I don't care. But is a frog, if you put a frog in the water, and you heat it up over time, you make a flame, and you slowly heat the water up. That frog will sit there and it'll boil to death because it can't distinguish, that the water is being heated up. Because when it got in there, it was cool, and it's a cold-blooded animal, and this is how it works with these types of animals. But if you threw a frog into hot water, it would jump straight out because it would be able to tell the difference in temperature. Whereas a slow rise in temperature, the frog can't distinguish, and it will sit there and boil to death. I mean, it happens for real. You can try it if you want, but it's mean, ultimately, in my opinion. The same thing is with the masses or large amounts of people. Like large amounts of people in the psychology of, the masses or groups has been understood for a long time. And I can push back to just in this era, back to Edward Bernays, who was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, who was the father of corporate marketing in America, and then subsequently was hired by most all major corporations on how to sell products to the masses and how to make commercials and to understand the psychology mostly of the housewife, because back in that time, women predominantly stayed home and took care of the house, so they were watching television, but also, of men as well. So bottom line is that these policies are instituted over time. They're instituted slowly. And if you pay attention, you can see what's happened. But overall, the institution of these policies happens slowly. And that's how governments do it because they understand the psychology of the mass. So when we're discussing this topic, obviously, and specific other topics, when it comes to, economic initiation of policies, you can read in, their documents. The International Monetary Fund says, and we went over this, I don't know if it was last week or a week before, but we went over this on, the foundation on how they want to decash society, and they didn't want to do it through decree, a governmental decree. They'd rather have it be adopted gradually and, have the banks and service providers and businesses institute and encourage this cashless society through fees imposed and so on and so forth, and have it trickle down slowly versus them, doing a legislative act, off the cuff, and people, it's too immediate. And humans are creatures of habit, so immediate differences in circumstances or position is very jarring to us, usually. So they understand this, and this is how they're doing this, and they're implementing it, and it's slow. So, there's a lot of people who can be called, whistleblowers or conspiracy theorists or whatever. We see this coming. We can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And bottom line is, it's best to be prepared. Prepare for the worst and, hope for the best. And, foundation, we're looking to make sure that you're prepared. So with that being said, how do you want to format this, brother? You want me just to read? Because the bill is short. You want to read the bill? Do you want to? I can let you could take over, because these is precious metals, and honestly, I defer to this brother, and I have no problem saying that. So I guess, Brother David, how you want to?
What we'll do?
I'm just going to hand it off to you. How does that? Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Because what I want to do, and I just want to say, I'm glad that you used that analogy because it's so true. The way in which you control people is through a slow, methodical approach. And you do it through magic, because the key to magic is not to trick you, but to make you believe. They make you think that you have freedom when actually what you have is subjugation and enslavement. And how you do that is you do that through energy. You control people's energy. When you control people's energy, you have all of their talents and ability at your full disposal, even to the point where they will deny themselves and will give their single life for your overall agenda. They sell out to what they've been indoctrinated to. They sell out to the boiling water. And so that's very, very true. In today's show, we're going to jump into this now, very important show. And as we started off, we're going to take a look at House Resolution 5404. And what I want to do is I want to go down this line and talk about it, and give you an opportunity to see what's going on so that you can make the best decision for you and your family and in your neighborhood, in your community, and the overall collective good of everyone. Because you'll see something that's very telling here. We give seminars throughout the country, and a lot of what's in this bill is what we talk about at our seminars. Because we try to give, and we've been talking about this for a very long time, because the system establishes control over a period of 1,000,000 years. They have their policies and their procedures to be methodically carried out. Their methods is always in the direction of their objectives. And by them having a long-term goals and plans, they put the general population that they're using those objectives against, that is actually the burden bearers of those objectives, they put them on 2 weeks or a month plan. And you can never defeat an enemy in war with a plan of 2 weeks and a month when they've been planning for millions of years. And I do mean millions. So what changes can happen quickly. It's the execution of your free will. And once you start questioning things, you can start to put things into an order that best serves your interests, your family's interests, your community's interest, the human species' interest. And HR 5404 is of great concern, but it's telling you so many different things that it's cluing you into how the system views you and uses us, how it views me, and it tries to use me. And that can only happen if I surrender, if I become a soldier to their cause and ignore the warrior that I was called to be. So let's take a look at this. Now, this HR 5404, you can go to congress.gov, and I suggest that you do that. So for those of you that want to reference this, which is always good, you should. Let's go to the source, and it's going to be Congress. And right now, HR 5404 is in the House of Representatives. It was introduced on March the 22nd of 2018. It was introduced by Representative Alexander, a Republican out of West Virginia. Now, I'm a political atheist. I believe that they're all equally worthless. But what I do is I do listen to them for a reason, because a lot of times they'll give you clues and tell you things in reading between the lines on what the agenda is. They may not even know it because they're following a script. So let's go to this House Resolution 5404. And like I said, you could go to congress.gov and just put in HR 5404. Here it goes. HR 5404, to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold. It's the 115th Congress, second session, to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold. HR 5404 in the House of Representatives on March 22nd, 2018. Mr. Mooney of West Virginia introduced the following bill, which was referred to the Committee on Financial Services. A bill to define the dollar as a weight of gold, to be enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1, findings. Here is where we're going to get to the meat, and it's very, very important. Finds the following. Number 1, the United States dollar has lost 30% of its purchasing power since 2000. 30% of the purchasing power since 2000. In this very first statement, they just let you know what they think about you and how they're using you. Here's why that's the case. Since 2000, the dollar has lost 30% of its purchasing power. Who relies on the dollar? And I'm going to tell you, it's not the corporation of the United States. It's you. And the reason why you depend on the dollar is because they have made it so that you have become addicted to it, thinking that it's money when it's not. Never has been, never will be. And it's losing purchasing power. What does that really mean? This is what it means. Is your overall talents and ability and labor force energy losing its value at any time, or is it gaining value? It always gains value. It's not losing value. But what they pay you in, what they give you in exchange for, you give them all of your energy and they give you cash, which is worthless and is losing purchasing power. Now you can see that they're robbing you. They're using an instrument, a debt instrument, and paying for debt to get an asset. This is why they call human resources at corporations, because the humans that work for them are a resource to them. Just like oil, there's natural resources and there's human resources. And they're using and controlling that. And by doing that, they're able to control and not own. They're able to dictate and have prosperity, and they pass out economic they pass out economic plight that will disenfranchise you ever having inheritance to pass on. Passing someone on your cash, leaving them your cash, is not an inheritance. You're passing on debt. It's just like you taking your car note and your mortgage and passing it to them. Here's the mortgage, here's the car note. The burden is now yours because it loses purchasing power. And I know that goes against everything that you've been taught in school that we've been domesticated to, because we've been taught those things in school and domesticated to them because they exploit us. We're basically giving up our priceless energy and receiving nothing in return. Would you work 100 hours, 200 hours, 40 hours for a leaf, a piece of paper? You would exchange all of that energy for a piece of paper. You would say, nowhere in the world. I'm not doing that for that. But that's exactly what we do when we get paid in debt, in cash. And they're telling you right here that it's losing purchasing power, meaning your overall value of your energy is being siphoned from you, and you're not benefiting from it at all. Ways and means. Our way of life provides for their means of life. It goes on. Number one, and 96% of its purchasing power since the end of the gold standard in 1913. Well, in actuality, it's lost. The dollar, which everybody thinks is cash, everybody thinks is money, has lost over 173% of its purchasing power when you really look at it. See, they create something and not have to give any energy to it. All they do is press a button. It's the printing press button or a computer button, and they can create debt because of the algorithms that they've created. And they do that. They don't have to give up anything. It's just like you. You can make someone give you everything that they own, and you give up nothing. Who's winning and who's losing? Very important. Number two, under the Federal Reserve, 2% inflation objectives. The dollar lost half of its purchasing power every generation of 35 years. They're telling you what they've already intended this to do. They knew this at the Bretton Woods decision. They knew this at the beginning of the financial of man's economy, because they knew, hey, how do we enslave people? We'll make them work for free. Well, how do we make them work for free? Well, you see this piece of paper, or you see this currency, or this or that is not worth anything, but we'll tell them it's worth everything in the world, and they'll do whatever we tell them. They'll give up everything. They'll give up their inheritance and their birthright. They'll kill, maim, and destroy each other in order to have what we have deemed and said is valuable, but we know is worthless. Goes on. Number three, American families need long-term price stability to meet their household spending needs, save money, and plan for retirement. They're basically telling you that there's going to be an economic collapse that is going to get rid of retirement, the savings of what you thought of savings of money, in your household. Quality of life and standard of living is going to be compromised. See, and they do this in their writing. Their grimoires and their writings tell a message, but it's not the one that they've taught us to read. It's what they taught us not to comprehend in what we read that's so telling. American families need long-term price stability. What does that mean? There is no price stability. Basically, they're telling you once again, you're getting paid something that has no value. And because of that, you're losing your prosperity. You're under financial servitude, and you don't even know it. Price stability to meet their household spending needs, save money, and plan for retirement. They're saying all of this because they know that they're going to create an economic crisis, and that this bill is going to be their solution to it all. But when they invoke this bill, it's going to be the worst thing that ever happened to us. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Number four, the Federal Reserve policy of long-term inflation has made American manufacturing uncompetitive, raising the cost of the United States manufacturing goods in more than 40% since 2000, compared to less than 20% In Germany and France, what are they telling you about? This is the overall trade war. First, it was the currency war that turned to a trade war. Then it's going to turn into a shooting war. And it's going to be against the East and Germany. And France is going to have to follow where Germany goes. And this is why they named them specifically here. This is what they're going to use as a reason to go to war. And I'm going to tell you something. They don't go to war. They write laws that they don't have to obey. They create debt that they don't have to pay. And they declare wars that they don't have to fight. They make you obey, pay, and fight. And that happens because we allow them. Because we don't know the difference between currency and money. And because of that, we're always in a position of disadvantage from the malevolent fraud of the financial institutions. It goes on. Number 5, between 2000 and 2010, the United States manufacturing employment shrunk by 1/3 after holding steady for 30 years at nearly 20 million jobs. Well, there are going to be plenty of jobs in America after everything is over. Everybody will have a job, but no one will be getting paid anything. What difference if you have a job and you're not getting paid? What difference if you have a good job and they're just paying you a debt instrument that has no intrinsic value? You may think that you have a good paying job, but you don't. It's all fraudulent. And this is why it's so fraudulent, is that they're even telling you that they've created an instrument of counterfeit and fraud, and they give it to the people in exchange for their labor, in exchange for their energy, which is priceless. Number 6. The American economy needs a stable dollar, fixed exchange rate, and money supply controlled by the market, not the government. Well, there is no differentiating, but there is no difference between. You can't differentiate between the government and the corporations. They're one and the same. But what they're admitting here is that things are going to get so bad here that fascism is going to take over. Meaning this is that corporations will dictate the overall policies, procedures, and laws that you'll have to live by. This is why everybody will have a job and they won't get paid anything at all. So they're admitting to here that they're moving towards a fascist state even more than what it is right now. And it says that the American dollar needs the American economy needs a stable dollar, a fixed exchange rate, and money supply controlled by the market, not by the government. See, the money supply that they're talking about is not what you think. They're not talking about cash. They're not talking about currency. The money supply they're talking about is assets, that being you, being one of the assets that they're leveraging. They're leveraging oil, the precious metals, food, water, land, and human resources. That's the money supply. But we think it's something else. We think it's the dollar bill. And because of that, we go to a table that's unevenly yoked, and it's always waged against you. You can never win. You can never get out of it. And they're telling you these things in this overall bill that they're going to pass, in my opinion, in the middle of the night. And when they do pass it in the middle of night because of an emergency economic crisis that has put the nation under such stress of national interest and continuity of government, they're going to enact this. And when they do, it's going to be a trap like no other trap before. Even greater than the overall capturing of spirits, of capturing of souls and capturing of people off of the continent and bringing them here to enslave them. It'll be much greater than that. And we'll get to that as to why as well. So here we go. Continuing. The gold standard means legal tender defined by a convertible into a certain quantity of gold. The gold standard means legal tender defined by convertible into a certain quantity of gold. And I want to just say this. This is very, very important. See, they are going to always be in a position of advantage, and they're always going to exploit you. How much gold and silver do you have? Because this bill is just not about gold. It's more about silver. It actually, if you read this bill correctly, it would actually read that to define the silver as a fixed weight of gold, because the word dollar means silver. But what they're doing here is this. They are going to ensure that they have an asset-based economy, because in having an asset-based economy, they want to make sure that they will always have the momentum and you will actually be hamstrung. How it works is this. How many assets do you have? If you count your home as an asset, you're wrong. It's a liability. If you count your car as an asset, you're wrong. It's a liability. They're all liabilities because they're bonded by debt. Your home is bonded by debt, even if you pay it off. Even if you pay it off. But see, what they did is they made sure that the general population here doesn't have any assets. You all remember about 10 years ago, you saw cash for gold places everywhere, in every strip mall, on every corner, because they knew 10 years or 13 years later they were going to invoke this overall law. And the first thing that they wanted to do is what I call soft mining, take all of the gold from the people, even the scraps of gold from the people, because the scraps of gold are going to be so valuable and the scraps of silver is going to be so valuable that if you have those things, you are going to be able to seize the opportunities from changing from a debt-based economy to an asset-based economy, or the wealth transfer into assets. You will actually be momentumized by that overall transfer because you have an asset. But see, what they did was they ensured that every person here divested themselves of the future. They enslaved the ones that you have yet not named by soft mining, by tricking you and giving up your silver and your gold. We don't even have silverware anymore. It's either plastic or aluminum or whatever it is. It's not silver. So they know their overall money has always been silver and gold, one of the most perfect forms of money. And they've been giving the general population pieces of paper, coupons, that have an expiration date on them, and their redemption is only for so long, but it loses its overall redemption power as it goes along and gets closer to it going to zero. The next one. Under the gold standard, through 1913, the United States economy grew at an annual average. Yeah, you got to go to a commercial?
No. We don't do commercials.
Yes.
I just wanted to state, I wanted to point out something. When it says, the gold standard means legal tender defined by and convertible into a certain quantity of gold. All right? And they spoke about the dollar, earlier. The dollar loses half of its purchasing power every generation. I do want to point out that they haven't, the quantity is not defined. The Constitution says money is gold and silver, and we're discussing the dollar and we're discussing the gold standard, but not the dollar defined. I do want to point that out too. You know what I'm saying?
And that's critical. And that's going to definitely come into the last part. That's absolutely true. That's critical. They didn't tell you what that measure was. And that's astute, because that's going to be very, very pivotal, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Next one, number 9. Under the gold standard, From 1913, the United States economy grew at an annual average of 4%, 1/3 larger than the growth rate since then, and twice the level since 2000. See, they staged this. All of the financial markets are rigged and fixed and regulated. And that word regulate means to establish control. For who? For them. See, what they did with retirement, pensions, and savings, they said, hey, give us your cash now, give us your energy now, and we promise when you get older and you can't work anymore, we'll have a boatload of cash waiting for you. But they'll give you a boatload of cash, but it won't be able to buy anything. Here's how you can tell that this is happening, and I want to give this thought to you all. I want you to picture this. Tonight, many of us have board games at home. If you don't, go to Walmart, pick up a board game. Pick up a board game, Monopoly, if you still can find it. Take out the overall cash that's there, and then go home, count it all. Take out $400, and then the next morning on your way to work or whatever you do, stop and try to put some gas in your car with that Monopoly money. You'll walk in and they'll say, what is this? We don't accept it. That's exactly what's going to happen with all of the cash that you have and that you've been saving in. It doesn't matter if you got 10 million of it, 100 million of it. All of it is equally worthless. It always has been. It was just a matter of time. You just didn't know when the expiration date was, but they told you it's been losing purchasing power. It's been going to zero. Alan Greenspan said at a congressional meeting, he told Congress, and when he was the Fed chairman, Alan Greenspan said, I can give you as much cash as you want. I can project it out as far as you want, but what I can't do is guarantee the purchasing power of it. He told you, I can give you as much paper as you want. You can steal from the people all you want, but they won't be able to buy anything with it. And this is all happening right under our noses because it's intentional. Number 10, the International Gold Exchange Standard from 1914 to 1971 did not provide for the United States dollar convertible into gold, and therefore helped cause the Great Depression and stagflation. What are they saying? They did cash for gold. You give them gold, they give you cash. They would not let you take cash and get gold on the open market. You had to be strategical in when you do that. If you've been doing that, you're wise. What you actually been doing is that you actually have been saving money because you get rid of dollars as soon as you get them, the Federal Reserve notes as soon as you get them, because they are meaningless and worthless. They're not money, and you've been exchanging it for money. They told you the secret right there. Number 11, the Federal Reserve's trickle-down policy of expanding the money supply with no demand for it has enriched the owners of financial assets, but endangered the jobs, wages, and savings of the blue-collar worker. They told you what their plan is. They said the Federal Reserve's trickle-down policy. Who is the Federal Reserve? I don't know exactly who they are. It's a private organization, but I will say this. It's probably made up of the original founding fathers of this country and their families. It's probably made up with all of the major banking corporations throughout the world, the central bank. It's made up with all the government entities. That's who the Federal Reserve is. And they created a policy, a trickle-down policy. See, they trickle down because it's a methodical, slow approach to boiling you. And before you know it, you cooked. And by doing that, they've enriched themselves. And they said it here, with no demand for it, it has enriched the owners of financial assets. What are financial assets? They're not talking about what we consider consumerism. They're talking about real assets. They're talking about oil. They're talking about farmable land. They're talking about water. They're talking about the precious metals. And they're talking about food. And they're talking about citizens. Those are the assets that they've enriched themselves. But it endangers the job, wages, and savings of the blue-collar worker. That would be the common person. That's the economy that's going to collapse. The economy is not going to collapse. It's the common person's economy that's going to collapse. That's what they're telling you here in H.R. 5404. Number 12, restoring America's middle-class prosperity requires a change in monetary policy authorized to Congress in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 5 of the Constitution. Restoring America's middle-class prosperity requires change in the monetary policy authorized to Congress. See, it sounds good, but they know you're not ready. Because the Constitution wasn't written for you. The Constitution was only written for the founders and their overall families, and they were we the people that put it into the Constitution. That's who the Constitution has always been for and will always protect. It will never protect a citizen. How do you know it'll never protect a citizen? Because a citizen is not paid what a constitutional member is paid. A constitutional member is paid gold and silver coin only. It's still in the Constitution today. But they send you what? Cash, checks, debt instruments, because you're the slave and the burden bearer of the Constitution. And this isn't just something that we're making up. It's right here in front of you. If they haven't taught you this, because they don't want you to know that we've been deceived. Deceptive measures have kept us impoverished because they created an economy that was absent of the great creator's intention. They became the money changers. They changed money. They changed our belief and our thoughts of money through magic. They made us believe a piece of paper was money. It's so indoctrinated and so ingrained in our thoughts, and we're so embedded with it that it's hard to believe that this could ever happen because it's always been there for. I've always been able to buy something for it. Well, that always ends because every single form of currency throughout human history has gone to zero. It returns to its intrinsic value of zero. The U.S. dollar is no exception. They're actually telling you this in this bill. Money does grow on trees. The bankers created that slogan that money don't grow on trees so that they can embed in you the thought process that's right because it can only be a piece of paper. Hate to tell y'all, they lied. Money does grow on trees. It's called peaches, it's called oranges, it's called pears. That's the great creator, God Almighty's economy. The ecosystem. It provides sustainability so that you'll never have to pay taxes or work for anybody. You can be a warrior that maintains their sovereignty and self-determination. Come the burden bearers of the slave of the economy. This is the truth. So whenever somebody tells you that money doesn't grow on trees, they're either lying or they're ignorant to the difference between currency and money. Most likely it's the latter. But depending on who it is that you're talking to, they may actually be lying. Because money does grow on trees. So, almost finished. Very important. This is very important. You need to talk about how this is going to affect us. It goes on. Now, Section 2, define the dollar into terms of gold. Effective 30 months after the date of enactment of this act, meaning after this act becomes law, the Secretary of the Treasury in this act, referred as Secretary, shall define the dollar in terms of a fixed weight of gold based on that day's closing price of gold, and the Federal Reserve Bank shall make Federal Reserve notes exchangeable with gold at the statutory gold definition of the dollar. What are they saying there? They're going to give you 30 months. Here's the key. 30 months to convert and to make this overall change in the overall economy that's here. But in that change, the conversion rate is going to be what kills you. And this is what they know. It all sounds good, but this is a death warrant that they're saying. This is an economic death warrant that they're signing against you. And they realize that every citizen is a dead person walking economically because of this. You don't have any assets. And they're going to an asset-based economy. In the new asset-based economy, it won't matter what your credit score is. You can have an 875 credit score, 1,000 credit score. It will mean nothing. Your overall pay history could be that you've never missed a payment in 100 years. That won't matter. The only thing that matters, see, that matters in a debt-based economy. In an asset-based economy, this is the only thing that matters is one question. What assets do you have to collateralize your monetary direction? And you can't say Jordans. And you can't say red bottoms. Because those are all consumer goods. They're not assets. They have no intrinsic value. And they know that the general population has no assets. All they have is debt. And this is what's going to happen. They're going to say that there's a conversion rate. The new dollar is now backed by gold and silver. In order for you to get that, you're going to have to trade in $30,000 to $100,000 of the old debt instruments or the old dollars for the new ones. And you're going to get $30,000 to $100,000 for just one of those. Do you know what that's going to do to every person here that doesn't have assets? It's going to shut the bar to where you'll never, ever be able to get out of the economic caste system because there will be a fight throughout the world for assets. And if you don't have any assets to leverage to acquire more assets, you won't be able to use a debt instrument to get any assets. They won't be accepting your monopoly money for anything. And this is why this bill is going to completely disenfranchise everyone that doesn't have assets. And they're telling you that. See, they always tell you before they do it. It's a sick part of their satanic rituals that they follow. They got to tell you what they're going to do to you so that you'll be a willful participant through ignorance. And they can always make the claim they knew or should have known. Number 3, during the 30-day month period following the date of enactment of this act, the United States government shall take timely and reasonable steps to disclose all of its holdings of gold, together with a compensatory report of any U.S. government purchases or sales, this enhancing the ability of the market and the market participants. Who are the market participants? It won't be anybody that's a debt slave. It will only be individuals that now the economy needs. An economy always needs assets. It uses assets to exploit the debtors and to arrive at a fixed dollar gold parity in an orderly fashion. Here's the problem with that. Most of the gold that the U.S. has is either stolen from its citizens or stolen from other nations. And the other nations are going to tell the U.S., hey, you can't go on the gold standard until you give us back our gold. This is why Germany is talked about in this overall bill, because Germany repatriated their gold from the U.S. and they were pissed. They were so pissed they had to kill Gaddafi. They killed Gaddafi to pay Chavez. They invaded and they created through the Nazis, destabilized the Ukraine to start the payments to Germany. Then they allowed a hurricane, Sandy, to go through New York to delay that process even further. They steered a hurricane through Manhattan to prevent the overall payment or disclosure of the German gold. This is why they hate Germany now. Because Germany called their bluff. It was the French that called Nixon's bluff, or the U.S.'s bluff, that caused Nixon to close the gold window. Excuse me, it was France that did it. And this is why France and Germany is named in this overall bill. Not a coincidence. And when these other countries are going to demand their gold back and the U.S. is going to say no, and you know what they're going to have a response to? It's going to be a military response, but it's going to be the worst kind of military response. It's not going to be by warships or bullets. It's going to be by cyber attack. Not only will you be going through the worst economic collapse ever, but you'll be going through that economic collapse in a grid down situation where the lights won't be on. All of these things are being put into place. And it all has to do with the precious metals. Obama signed a law before he left office. Celebrity figurehead Obama signed into law where you can look it up for yourself, where private citizens and corporations can go out into space and to mine celestial bodies. He signed that into law. Why did he do that? Because the overall precious metals, the earth doesn't produce precious metals. The earth isn't yielding any precious metals. The earth produces oil and water. It produces that. The lies that they told you scientifically how oil gets on the planet is a lie. But see, the precious metals is extraterrestrial. It has to come to the earth from outside of the earth's atmosphere. And they've mined all of that. And the one that they've mined all of it of is not gold. See, they connected everyone to gold so that you would ignore the truth. And the truth is silver. They don't have any more silver. This is why Obama signed into law that corporations can go into space to mine celestial bodies, planets, and meteorites. And then Trump announced the overall Space Marines recently. One president did a little bit, the next one does another. It's a slow process. No one ever sees what's happening. What are they doing? They don't have any more silver on this planet. Now they got to go to the moon and to Mars to get it. And when they harvest that overall silver from the moon, do you think that they're going to allow the overall pricing of it and the value of it to come back here to be where it is right now? Absolutely not. Because silver is a critical, it's more valuable than all of the precious metals combined. No silver, no economy. Many of you may not even be aware of how important silver is. No silver, you couldn't exist. But I want to stay here on this 5404 because it's very important. They've enacted this, and it's in Congress right now, and it's going to be passed, and I think it's going to be passed, and it's waiting to be passed when the appropriate moment of crisis comes. They'll never let a good crisis go to waste. There's going to be an economic crisis, and this is going to be the remedy. And they're going to blame the East, China, and the BRIC nations, and that's going to perpetuate the war that they're going to lose. And the U.S. will be put under receivership, and the states will start to untie itself. This is why the states are running right now frantically to establish gold and silver and precious metal depositories. Texas was the first one to open up 2 months ago because they know where it's coming. You don't, because they don't tell you. So this is more than important. And I know that we're running out of time, but I wanted to just express this to you on what's happening. Here's the critical part before if you have any questions or any comments about it. The overall China, the BRIC nation, have already determined that the U.S. will be on a gold standard. The U.S. has been trying to delay it as long as they can because they don't have the gold. They have the gold, they don't have the silver. And the gold that they have is stolen. And they know that they've created far too much debt and they can't pay back the overall debt. And there's not going to be a debt jubilee. It's not going to be a debt jubilee. Debt is never forgiven. It's either defaulted on or paid off in man's economy. It should be forgiven in the great creator's economy. It's known as the Shemitah. But let me get back to what this is really about. Right now, the East has already decided that the U.S. economic time is up. So much so that some of the Forex trading or the currency, some of the currencies that selective individuals out of the East can acquire is known. There's something that's called the USN, the U.S. note. You won't find it talked about officially here in the United States. Obama was supposed to announce it at the Treasury. He was there with Dunford, Loretta Lynch, and Jack Lew. And then he instead of following that script, which was smart, he started to talk about something else because he didn't want to be the one that introduced the USN. Why? When he was leaving. It was a smart choice. I'm not going to let them know that it's about to go, the lights is about to get cut out on them. So, in Asia, some of the influential banks for selective individuals have something called the USN. And here's the key with the USN. It's kind of like this. You can use dollars to get yuans, to get yens, to get British pounds, to get Russian rubies, to get all of the currencies of the world. You can buy and sell those currencies for U.S. dollars, or you can buy and sell U.S. dollars in those to get those currencies, however you would like to do it. And it goes all the way down, and there's a bank out of Hong Kong called DBS. And they have in their listings, I've sent it to many people. And in this listing, it says the USD, and then just below the USD, it has something called the USN. The USN is the gold-backed note of the United States Treasury. But the general population can't get it. But the thing that's so important and the thing that's telling about this is that it says this. It says USN and USD to buy or sell NA. Meaning the NA is non-applicable, meaning you can't use U.S. dollars to get the USN. One of the things that China said is that when they go to the gold standard, they will not allow any country or any individual to use the U.S. dollar to acquire the gold-backed currency. And they went even so far as saying you won't be able to buy gold or silver with the U.S. dollar. Because they're not going to allow you to exchange nothing for something. They're not going to let you to develop a cash for gold scheme against them like they did to you. And when this happens, doesn't matter how many millions of dollars, U.S. dollars you have, they won't be able to buy a thing. They won't be accepted. This is why Switzerland and the rest of the world is divesting themselves of U.S. treasuries. And the ones that they're giving it to is the people here, you and I. So this is right here in front of us. I don't know if we have any comments or questions. You know, it's very, very important. This is something that you cannot deny. It's right here in front of you, and you have to move on this as quickly as you possibly can.
The alternative lending industry can provide a very lucrative opportunity for brokers and affiliate partners. Whether you're specialized in commercial lending or real estate financing, having the right funding partner can make the difference between earning thousands on a deal or losing a commission. Go Capital understands this. You work hard to secure your clients and deserve to be compensated. Unfortunately, due to increased competition, many lending companies have stopped working with new agents, are not providing adequate training, are slow to respond, and simply not issuing competitive approvals. By joining Go Capital's partner program, your dedicated support specialist will assist you every step of the way. As a broker, you know that it's not always a matter of obtaining a loan approval. You need competitive terms. Go Capital's catalog of loan products allows you to offer the best financial solutions to your clients. Options include business lines of credit, SBA loans, merchant cash advances, commercial mortgages, hard money fix and flip loans, bridge financing, equipment leasing, invoice factoring, and more. What does this mean for you? More deals, more commission, and satisfied customers. As a registered partner, you'll receive free access to the Broker Affiliate Sales Portal. This system allows you to easily manage your deals and also offers tools, training, and resources that will help you succeed. Frustrated with never being able to speak with someone about your deals? At Go Capital, someone is always available. Whether you prefer to call, email, chat, or even visit our office headquarters in downtown Miami, we are always available to answer your questions. While other companies may advertise the highest commissions, they often fall short when it comes to issuing competitive terms, making the process easy, or simply being responsive. Go Capital provides quality broker support and training, and quickly identifies how to best structure a transaction. With our multitude of loan programs, comprehensive training systems, and quality service, you can focus on more important things, generating more business. Need us to join a conference call with a client? Need help presenting an offer? No problem. Our loan specialists are here to help. For more information or to sign up, visit our partner page on www.gocapital.com today or call 1-866-257-2973 and speak with an account manager. Go Capital, where your success is our business.
Ever wondered how to navigate the intricate web of compliance processes while maintaining top-tier security for your notarial records? The solution is closer than you think. Introducing Comply Chain Guard, or CGG, a platform designed specifically for civil law notaries. CCG merges the complex chain of compliance processes with unrivaled protective measures. It enables you to stride confidently through the multifaceted terrain of regulations while ensuring paramount security for your records, deeds, and transactions. CCG boasts a regulatory compliance engine that keeps you updated with real-time insights tailored to civil law regulations. It effortlessly integrates with legal databases and ensures automated compliance checks for all notarial deeds and transactions. But that's not all. CCG also features advanced encryption to safeguard your notarial records. You'll benefit from multi-factor authentication and periodic security assessments, upholding the sanctity of every notarial act. Plus, with continuous transaction monitoring, you'll receive alerts for any discrepancies and comprehensive logs for traceability. And when it comes to reporting and analytics, CCG generates automated compliance reports specific to notarial acts. Dive into our analytics dashboard for transaction patterns and predictive insights. Why choose CCG? It brings efficiency, security, and compliance to your fingertips, allowing you to operate with unmatched confidence and credibility. CCG integrates effortlessly with your notarial record-keeping systems. Our API facilitates bespoke integrations, ensuring compatibility with major legal platforms and databases. And remember, our dedicated support is here to assist you every step of the way. CGG is the future of notarial practices. It redefines your work, ensuring accuracy, credibility, and peace of mind. It's a transformative experience tailored for civil law notaries. Don't wait. Contact Comply Chain Guard for a demo or more information. Step into the future of notarial practices. Your journey to seamless compliance and robust security starts with CCG.